What's going on, YouTube? So this is going to be a weekly prep. So over here, I'm just going to briefly go over what is going to be the most important things we should be focusing on for the week. All right. So this is just my private Discord community. We go over this every Sunday. So so just that we're not guessing in the markets, right? You want to be able to have a weekly prep just so that you know what opportunities is going to be available for us to trade, right? So we can see that this week, Tuesday, we're going to have the UK labor data. So that's going to impact the pound markets, all right? The pound pairs. So if you like to trade GBP over London session, this is going to be that opportunity you want to be taking advantage of. Now look at Wednesday. We have UK GDP along with US CPI and FOMC. So the Federal Reserve rate decisions on Wednesday definitely going to be a main focus for that day. All right, guys. And also ending that Wednesday with Australia's labor data. Thursday, we're going to have US PPI data, which is just another inflationary indicator, but then follow along with the Bank of Japan's rate decision. Friday, we're going to end the week off on US inflation expectations. So, rate decision week, right? We're going to have the Federal Reserve is definitely going to be a main focus. So, if you're looking at that, it's going to impact USD currency, US equities like NASDAQ, S&P, and the Dow Jones, and also gold, right? So we are going to be, I do trade these live, because I know it could be a little hard trying to understand FOMC meetings and stuff like this. And right here, just is like an example, is a live stream that you could just see where this is where we're going to be getting the headlines from the rate decision. This is called the Reuters News Terminal. So this is where you're going to be getting those headlines coming out from the rate decision. So especially when Jerome Powell is speaking, you're going to see the headlines come out over here, and this is how you could be on top of the rate decision and be on top of those headlines that comes out. All right, is extremely important. But let's move forward. When it comes to holidays, right? We only have Australia on Monday. So other than that, it's going to be pretty quiet for the week. So nothing really to worry about. And then we look at earnings, and our Federal Reserve speakers is coming out for that week as well. All right. So let's just let's talk about the Feds. I make this important for the Feds because I know a lot of us right here, we like to trade gold and US equities. But again, if you guys are focusing on other pairs as well, let me know in the comments what pairs do you focus on as well, so I could also start covering that. But I think definitely the main focus this week is going to be the Fed's rate decision. So we already could assume that is already, we already know it's going to happen on Wednesday. Okay. So when it's coming to that, and also Wednesday we have CPI. That's going to be before the rate decision, which is crazy, having inflation before the rate decision. But it could set up for a good opportunity depending on the print on inflation, right? So that could lead to a good tradable opportunity, which means is, inflation, if inflation comes out higher, this is why we have our bias right here. So if inflation comes out higher, that should give us a bullish outcome, right? As we can see here, higher inflation. So that should give us a stronger dollar. But the fact that the markets are moving towards monetary policy. So if we have higher inflation, that would lead to the markets expecting that the Federal Reserve would still be restrictive regarding rates. If that does happen, then that means there's a probability that we're going to see a stronger dollar and stronger yields, which will lead to weaker US equities and weaker gold. Okay. If we get higher inflation, if we get a hawkish central bank from the rate decision, so meaning during this rate decision, if the Federal Reserve comes out and states that inflation is still high and we still need to stay restrictive, anything regarding that, right? And I'll go more into detail when it comes to it later. That should lead to another bullish outcome. That would lead to stronger dollar, stronger yields, weaker US equities, and weaker gold. Okay. Now look at vice versa. If we get lower inflation, that should give us a bullish outcome, right? And also, if we get a dovish Federal Reserve meeting. So if inflation comes out lower, and or if the Federal Reserve meeting, they're talking about that inflation is now declining, obviously, it's more in control, and they don't have any reasons to continue to stay restrictive, and they confirm rate cuts, like two rate cuts or more for the end of the year, that would be dollar weakness along with strength in US equities and stronger gold. Okay. So I'm not expecting much to happen from this rate decision because most likely is already being priced in as a potential cut. And this is how we can tell is I'm going to show you guys this. Because this is a website that y'all could use just to look at the rate projections. So we could just see in the meeting that we're going to have on the 12th that is already priced in almost at 100%, is already priced in for no change. So most likely we already see that they're going to leave rates unchanged for this meeting. So it's going to be about the forward guidance. It's not about the rate change, the rate decision itself. With if they leave rates the same, it's going to be about their forward guidance, right? Because what's going to be important, because we see that the next meeting in July is still high probability of no change. But then now look at September. September, we're at 50-50. So is September going to be the first meeting for a rate cut? I think this is going to be whatever data that we're getting from now till July is going to impact the September meeting for if we're going to get a rate cut or not. Because if we get a rate cut, then there's a higher chance that we're going to get 3 rate cuts this year. That could help more dollar weakness. If we see September increases by no change, then there's just a higher probability that we're only going to get 2 rate cuts for the year, which rate cuts is still negative. But if rate cuts happen sooner, that's going to be that's going to be something we're going to want to pay attention to. So the September meeting is going to be super important. This inflation data, everything that's happening now from now to July is going to impact the September meeting, because September, is this going to be the first rate cut or not? Okay, because if we do, then we get three rate cuts this year. All right. So this is why it's extremely important to pay attention to that. This is just like a little quick market update, guys. If y'all like these videos, let me know, and I'll definitely do more for you guys in the future. And then also just trade safe this week. All right, guys. Have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with another trader.